Thanks for messing around and Vampire Survivors. Young Maria Renard is another Invincible character, so she gets a compilation video where she clears every stage in one go, because there's no reason not to. BESWEC 481 is gonna be doing with post commentary as I talk about World of Warcraft PVP again. Yay, World of Warcraft PVP. So, a lot of my good and best stories have already been used up, so it's time to talk about the Battle for Azeroth frame. Once again, I am a demon hunter for the Alliance. I did a lot of work. I didn't know like any arena PvP because I wasn't interested in it, but a lot of world PvP happened during Battle for Azeroth. It was really designed for it. One of the early times about just how crazy it could be was I was wandering around inside the Thrustwood area, east of the primary town for I can't remember the name of it. There was a world quest there. Another alliance was getting ganked by Horde, so I jumped in because that's what I do. I jump in and I fight and I fought and I fought and I fought and God, it was like 5 Horde for just the two of us. The other guy went down, but I somehow managed to pull it out. I beat a 5v1 by myself. I just shouted to the high heavens like to that. Just like crazy. Shouted in general chat, shouted regularly, and then I ran back to town and retreated away because I didn't want to deal with that coming back to fight me again. But it was hilarious and fun. Demon Hunter was really strong in the open world. Not as insanely absurd as Discipline Priests at the time, though. Oh man. Earlier on that first story, around the sandy area, I can't remember the name of anything. Oh, well, Tiergran, Sarn, Stormkiss, Rustfeld, whatever. Around the same place on the Horde Island. PvP happening somewhere north of like there's so many ruins in that area. Anyway, got into a fight with a bunch of Horde, ran around, they overwhelmed us. I fell back, ran into an area with a bunch of mobs, whatever. Another guy comes with me, and we're chased down by some Horde. We kill off the rest, a couple of them, but the Discipline Priest is still alive. After a pretty nasty fall, he's in like a group of like, I'm not kidding, like 50 or so mobs, with two of us wailing on him. He has a 2% health. I'm not even joking. It was pathetically low. But Discipline Priests have the ability to put a bubble on themselves. Not a bubble, a shield on themselves that absorbs a certain amount of damage. And the cooldown and the amount of healing, not healing, the cooldown and the amount it protects is absolutely insane. We wheeled on the guy for something like 3 minutes and he healed himself to full and his mana bar never went down, of course. It was just absolutely insane. We were interrupting him, we were stunning him, we were blocking him out. It was crazy. He eventually just survives it all, including the mobs wailing on him, and he kills the both of us. He chases me down as a demon hunter because that's it was absolutely insane. One of the most garbage things I've ever seen in my entire World of Warcraft not career. Oh, there was plenty of PvP other stuff. Just hunting things, dude. Times. Just hunting guys. There was a bounty system. If someone killed too many of your team, they would get pinged on the map and there would be a bigger reward for hunting them down. I actually managed to, there was an achievement even for doing it. You got the bounty, got 10 more kills, then you would get a feat of strength. I got that really early, actually. Just before I died, 10 kills, then I got plopped. Go figure. There were weekly hunting down dudes things that I did occasionally. Well, most of the time, frankly. But the real showstopper was one of the early patches. I was trying to really ramp up the Horde versus Alliance war at the time. There would be competing, well, not so competing, but world quests that occurred in the same area on a timer, big battle things, and killing both the generic NPC mobs and players would count for it, so you get a lot of people fighting each other there. So much. Occasionally, it would get so out of control that the other faction would try to overtake the other's main city, and it happened a lot. Quite a bit. It would just be fighting endlessly. One time I was coming back to the main town of the Alliance, and I just narrowly check coming flying in that, we're being raided by the Horde. And this was somewhat early before flying had been unlocked. So I was able to jump up on the rooftops and just follow along, not able to interfere or do anything. I could throw my glaive occasionally. I didn't want to be killed. All the guys on the ground. This continued on for a while. They had control of the main area for like a 30 to an hour, 45 minutes, no, about that amount of time. Before we eventually rallied and pushed them back. And I didn't mean push them back, is that most of the area was concentrated near the docks and the quest givers and all that stuff. We pushed them back from that to like the main tier guard keep. That's a plot haven place. That's not really important. We pushed them back through the bridges, through the docks, through all that. And we didn't just stop there. We continued on. We got into a big old raid group and counter raided their main base too. We took over their boat for a good half an hour too. It was really fun. World PvP like that just sort of occurs naturally, and that's what Battle of Frazza tried to encourage a lot. It was really fun. That's just kind of how it goes. Went back and forth. Towns would be taken over temporarily. They would hit back and forth. Wouldn't be the first time things were raided. Wouldn't be the last time things were raided. That's how it goes, and that's how it was. This PvP of my entire World of Warcraft time was during for Battle of Azeroth. It was really fun. Miss it. Of course, sometimes it was bad, like with that Disciple Priest, or just, oh god, Legion PvP was so bad in the open world. I think one of the most especially awful things I'd ever heard was about how Demon Hunters hard countered rogues, and it was like the biggest sack of garbage I'd ever heard. Now the fact that you would have to, Demon Hunters could use their spectral vision to see a rogue out of stealth, but you would have to know they were there to do it. And then you were slowed down even slower than the rogue during that. And if you took any action and took any damage, like anything, you'd be knocked out of it. You only had one ranged move in your glaive. And, even if you knocked a rogue out of it, they could just pop their vanish and bam, who cares? Not like yours was on a 30-second cooldown. And then the rogue knew they're there, pick you out, and annihilate you because demon hunters were super frail. They had no self-sustain, really, outside one specific talent. One other really crappy talent that contradicted it. God, Phase Walk was so terrible. It cleared nothing. It was the worst invulnerability in the game. I had to agree that was baffling. That's how it goes sometimes. Yawn. Being recorded within minutes before it has to be put up. This took so long to actually record a Vampire Survivors footage. Also, I learned that the Cosmic Eggs can break through invincibility. Oh no, this is a World of Warcraft PvP again. Ugh. Folks were so ridiculous. Everything in Legion was just instant death burst, except unless you were a tank, a rogue, had great invincibilities, or a paladin who could also pop invincibilities. I remember back in the day when paladins had no damage and people still complained about them having so much healing, blah blah blah. And it's just like, yeah, but it all sucks. It's all terrible. It feels terrible to play paladin in classic. And now it's not terrible to play it. They keep all their ridiculous super strong stuff. It's kind of funny. Of course, I had Vengeance taken. That was really strong. I talked about it in one of the earlier compilation videos about taking out that tower. Another fun time I had as Vengeance was taking over this Val'sharah Legion. The Horde had taken over the Val'sharah town in that area, and we were being kept out of it. I really needed to get out, so I was in Vengeance. I'm just going to charge in. We were just sort of prancing about for like 20 minutes, poking each other with ranged things. I just decided to jump in and cause chaos, and for some reason this worked and completely pushed them out of the entire city. It was weird, really weird, but it worked out. Well, I think that's long enough. Not exactly the most exciting time around, but I'm really time right now. And there it is with, well, no trouble whatsoever, possibly whatsoever. Young Maria Renard has taken us up to 2,299 on the BESWEC. 91. 91. That leaves us with 1,669 more to go, and Leon Belmont on the next one.